Are you one of the many busy professionals working in offices day in and day out? Do you wonder how some people grow their wealth fast, retire early, and play on workdays? Well, you're in luck, because Ginny Bolling hosts this show, Pivot to Prosperity, where she interviews people that can do just that, play on workdays. Many guests have become financially free. She also interviews people that are on their journey and people that are in support roles, like attorneys, contractors, brokers, and others. Commercial real estate is the common element. She is on a mission to be sure busy professionals know they can own substantial commercial properties too, like apartments, self-storage facilities, and others, and not have to do the work managing them. Passive investing is the key. Syndications are the typical method. Tax write-offs are some of the biggest rewards. Ginny and partners find the deals, build a strong team and business plan, then offer the investment opportunities to passive investors. New episodes are released every Tuesday at 12, so watch for new releases. If you want to get involved, let us know. You need to get pre-qualified to hear about most deals. See the show notes for contact information.
Hello. Ginny Bolling here with Pivot to Prosperity. And today we have Ron Koenigsberg. Okay.
Koenigsberg. Thanks, Ginny.
Is not how I was going to pronounce it.
Don't worry about it. It's not an easy one. I understand.
Yes, Ron. Thank you so much for coming on. And you are a CCIM.
I am.
And you have quite the reputation in Long Island. And I gotten the chance to talk with you a little before we come on here. I did not ask you about a bio, so let you introduce yourself and
sure,
we'll go from there.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Ginny. I'm 60 years old. I'm the son of a commercial real estate syndicator. My dad started out, he owned an NASD broker-dealer and sold investments. And really, he brought my brother and I to many of the sites that they were acquiring in terms of general partnerships. My brother became a real estate lawyer. I became a real estate broker, and commercial real estate has always been in our blood. I think that I'm more, associated with my dad. We both have a sales background. And my brother is a commercial real estate attorney down in Miami. I'm here in Garden City, Long Island, New York. I have several times won Commercial Broker of the Year. Everyone's trying to 11,000 brokers. Everyone wants to be number one. So it's what we do, a lot of transactions. It's fun to be here. I definitely pride myself on a person that, wants to be part of the commercial real estate community and add value.
And you specialize in representing the sellers, right?
I do.
Yes.
I do. Just work on exclusives. I just work on properties in my market. Just work on Long Island properties. We really know I'm from here. You can, the New York accent probably gives that away. And just work for sellers. Don't work for buyers. Just represent exclusive listings, commercial properties, no homes, shopping centers, office buildings, industrial properties, and multifamily. So yeah, we've got ourselves a good piece of this pie, but we're always looking to grow our market share.
Yeah, and we were talking about the market today, but before we move into that, let me back you up a second, because you did reference multifamily and industrial, and we got off on talking about offices, but I think you said the industrial isn't so much on the island, right?
Right. We just don't have a great inventory of multifamily or industrial properties on Long Island.
But you do have some. Okay.
We do have some, of course. Absolutely.
Okay. So as far as your specialty, that would be shopping centers then? Is that
I would say yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Over the years, most of my transactions have been retail. Triple nets, shopping centers, yes.
And how do shopping centers perform on the island there compared to on the mainland? Would you say there's any real difference?
Listen, I know that historically our vacancy rates have been 4% or below where they are right now. So, I think nationwide, it's probably double that, on a vacancy rate. So I think to answer your question very specifically, I think our vacancy rates are very low. I think there's a lot of traffic. I do think that Nassau County in particular, and Suffolk a little bit less, has tremendous density.
Yeah, definitely. That makes it much, much different from what I see here in Florida. There's a lot of shopping centers that are truly at the 80% area.
occupancy, 20% vacancy.
Yep.
That's where the profits are. The last 20% is where all the money is. Everything else is just to pay the, pay your mortgage and pay, pay your taxes and your other expenses. The 20%, that's where the income is. That's the good stuff.
It's interesting. It is. And I enjoy trying to figure out where and what tenant should go where. I haven't spent my career doing that, obviously, because as I told you, most of that's been eminent domain. And even though I've been a broker for 30 years, most of that was consulting. So, but I love to try to figure that out. And I always thought it'd be interesting to find a way to ask the public,
essentially that's what I believe happens most of the time. I think that, when we advertise, I don't do leasing, but people say to me all the time, what do you think the tenant should be in there? And my attitude is, I don't know. Let's let the market decide. Let's see what comes after we really advertise the availability of the space. And same thing with shopping centers. Once we, advertise the real availability of the space, let's just see who comes over and starts to buy it. So that it really is the market responding.
Is there any particular tenant that predominates in Long Island that is in many of the shopping centers?
We have this traditional mom and pops. I think that if you went through, funny, if I just went through my listings right now, if I pulled up, I think you're going to see, pizza places, nail salons, hair salons. I think that traditional tenant mixes are the most prominent thing. I'm pulling one up right now. Let's see what we got. We have a grocery store, which is 1,000 square feet. So it's not really a grocery store. Let's just say it's, you go in there to pick up. We have a little bit of a fashion boutique. They're out there selling some clothes. We have a hair salon. We have a nail salon. I forgot this one. These are popular. Let's talk about puppies. Let's talk about dogs. Let's talk about let's talk about, there's a lot of, since the pandemic, a lot of places that cater to dogs, a lot of yoga studios. I don't want to jump into this one too deep because it's always a hot button issue. Dry cleaners. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Tattoo shops. There's a Chinese restaurant and there's an ice cream shop in this particular one. And again, as I told you, I believe that right now at this point, we have 20 or 21 exclusive listings, and I'm just picking out the next one. And this particular one, let's take a look at the tenant mix on this one. I'm sure it's very similar. This one, we have a nail salon, a barber shop, a cleaners, a deli, which is probably exactly what that is, a restaurant, another restaurant. They have two stores. Same thing in mom and pops, the services that we need. If I was going to say, again, I've been a broker since the mid 90s. I think the things that have changed is we've gone to a lot more services, nail salon, barbershop. This is actually a shoe repair, great service. You invest a lot of money into your shoes. You want to get them repaired. Cleaners, deli. This is a computer hospital, and this is a restaurant. So a lot of services. I think we've gone from the goods, which we could buy, on the internet, to a lot more services.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really does. And now, do most people walk there or drive there?
We're a driving community. Everything on Long Island is about parking. For right now, although I do see the future being different. I do see that parking is...
Say more, go there.
Well, it's funny. I sat with a major mall owner, I guess, maybe about in 2005. And he said to me, and I said, parking is everything. It's just everything. We want front parking. In Florida, I'm sure you want the same thing too. Parking is critical. And he said to me, Ron, 94% of the time your car is sitting idle. I was like, I know, but it's the 6% of the time that I need it, that I'm using it. And he said, right, but is there a better way? better way. Could you imagine a self-driving car, he said, in the future, which just picks you up and drops you off, and you don't have to deal with anything. So, as we get closer to Ubers and we get closer to pick up and drop off, is there a possibility in the future that parking isn't as important? Maybe, but for now, I can promise you, we're counting spots, and I'm sure everybody in Florida is as well.
Yeah, to a point. And it's interesting, though, Orange County, being the main county here in Central Florida, is changing to a form-based code where they're trying to put parking in the rear and want the buildings out front for people to be walking. It's quite an experiment they're trying to force out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have some of everything. This is a, Long Island, it's an older, many towns are very old. People like front parking. It's something that people like to park their car, go to a store and go get back out. Maybe our elements, maybe our weather is a little bit hotter than Florida weather, but I wouldn't want to push that. I wouldn't want to push back parking on.
Because it's too easy to miss it. You miss the driveway, and guess what? You might go to the next place.
Sure. No, we love our front parking if possible.
So how many taxis are there in Long Island? I haven't, like I said, I haven't been there in decades.
Okay. Well, I think that you're thinking really, we're a bedroom community, toward the, toward the five boroughs of New York City. And, it really isn't bustling as Manhattan is. And there's very little taxis in Manhattan as well. Manhattan's a thing. Yeah, I mean, taxis really and truly are mostly a thing of the past. It's Ubers. Yeah.
It's Ubers. Oh.
It's Ubers, yeah. It really is.
I guess I was there during the pandemic. It was weird. There was not many people out.
Not many people, not much of anything. But I will tell you, one of the biggest things that I've seen was what's happened in taxi cabs. Yeah, no question about it. The value of taxi cabs had gotten as high as $1 million for each of the medallions. They only offer like 14,000. For many years, it was 11,878. And then they offered a few more. Something I always knew being a New York City guy. But yeah, those $1 million medallions probably trade for 100,000 or less. The value is gone. Sad.
When you say medallion, that's the taxi
license.
Yeah,
the license. It's something that they put on the hood of the car. It's a medallion, and that medallion can operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But they're just not being used right now. People are using Ubers, which the market speaks to you. We're very reactionary. In my market, for instance, I started in the mid-1990s, and if I wanted to sell a shopping center, I needed to make a phone call to a buyer or fax him the one-page listing setup. Okay? Right now, 87.5% of all new property acquisitions start online. I used to advertise in the New York Times. It has been a while since anybody's advertised in the New York Times. So I love technology. I love staying current. I'm always looking for the next way to be, competitively advantaged. I went into coaching. I was a student at Massimo Group, a coaching platform. And Coach called me up. I'm not really doing it very much. Coach called me up to wish me a Happy New Year, January 1st, 2024. And he said to me, how you doing embracing AI? And I said, embracing AI? I think you got the wrong phone number. He said, I want you to embrace AI. And I really have. I use it all day, every day, ChatGPT, for all sorts of things. Mostly because I'm dyslexic, and it helps me write very well. My emails have gotten so much better.
Yeah, it's interesting. I only recently decided to put in the time, and it's amazing. It's really been impressive. And I'm training mine to know me and do all the things that, can help so much. But
Got to communicate well
so
with it. Yeah.
tell everybody what your website is.
Sure. It's funny. I opened my own firm. I went to American University and I opened up American Investment Properties July 4th, 2001. And my website is AI props.com. And because it's AI props, American Investment Properties, I've get a lot of people asking me how I knew 25 years ago that the future of commercial real estate was going to be in artificial intelligence. I didn't. It just happens to coincidentally be AIPROPS.com. We're an active firm. It's been a tough market for the last few years, but things have really turned around in 2025.
I'm trying to think of ways you can make that AI make your website stand out even more, as that you have an AI bot that walks through your property.
Sure. Sure. I love embracing technology in all sorts of kinds, and I use it. I don't think that anything is going to replace the human connection. I think that people do business with people that they like, they trust, that they feel are educated and good professionals. And, that's the reason why I think that, we continually grow our market share. We're very, very, very astute to our market. We're specialists in this market.
And yes, so walk us through what the typical transaction would be on a shopping center. How long does it take, for instance?
Sure.
And
Sure.
just real briefly.
Sure, absolutely. Most shopping centers, office buildings here on Long Island that I work on are not owned by major corporations. For the most part, our deal size is usually 1 to 10 million. Okay, so the major shopping centers, a lot of times those are dealt by the REITs are also dealing. But for the most part, the properties that I'm working on, they're family owned. Many, many, many times there are partners, but a lot of those partners might be family members as well.
How big is the shopping center? How many square feet would it typically be?
My average size deal is 5 to 10,000 square feet.
Wow.
Man, these are not huge shopping centers. These are 5 to 10, these are 5 to 10 stores. 2 million to 5 million is probably most of the transactions that we do. I'm very structured in how we approach every single transaction. I really don't like to deviate from doing a broker opinion of value. I want everybody to study the comps. I don't want anybody's opinion or what happened 100 years ago or what they think happened. Let's dig in for all of us to have complete transparency, to understand all the comps, to really dig in and understand the value and have us decide based upon the comps, have us decide based upon what really is transparent, the value of the building. Now, I'm going to outperform that building. Nobody hires me to, bring in market values. They hire me to outperform the market. So we got to figure out how to outperform the market, but we really need to understand the value first. We never skip that step. First thing is we have a full understanding of the broker opinion of value. So my 44-page broker opinion of value also has a listing timeline. It does usually take us on average, Ginny, from bringing in the information and signing, the agreement to get us up and running. It takes us 6 weeks to typically find a buyer for most properties. It takes us a month and a half. It does 6 weeks.
Is it usually someone that lives right there?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. 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 It is somebody, it is typically, it's usually not the shopping center owner that everybody thinks is going to be buying it. As I mentioned to you earlier, while it used to be a lot more relationship based, being I picked up the phone or I sent a text, that didn't exist, or I sent a fax, message, it is reactionary. We buy premium spots. Right now, by reactionary, we're working on Crexy, which is a website, my own website, aiprops.com, LoopNet, CoStar. We buy premium listings. I believe our information is in our marketplace is the most professional. We don't have anything missing. Our OMs are typically 25 pages filled with, really concrete information about the properties. So my job is to communicate professionally, accurately, and well with the market. So I want people to know if they look at one of our listings on the market, online, or one of our offering memorandums, it's accurate. It's accurate. So that is a major stumbling block I see with other firms. And while it's not faxes anymore and maybe not outgoing phone calls to sell buildings, it's still, we are really in touch with the sellers, and our job is to outperform the market, is to figure out ways, spend nights and weekends to figure out who's going to pay a little more.
And are they usually getting debt on it?
Debt. I thought you said dead. No, we have mostly live buyers. I'm sorry, a little bit of humor for me. No, and are they getting debt?
Yeah, 70%, 60%, 50%.
I would say, right. I would say that somewhere between 50 to 70% debt, and that's a function of the marketplace. And I would say 60% of our deals are financed, and the other 40% are all cash deals. And you're saying all cash? Why wouldn't they use financing? 70. You'll see I'm a percentage guy. 70% of all transactions in the United States of America are 1031 motivated. Somebody replacing another property to defer the capital gains taxes.
1031.
Section
Motivated.
1031, yes, Section 1031 of the IRS code.
Did you get that statistic from somewhere?
The 70%?
Yeah.
I will find out where I got it from, but yes, when you're a commercial real estate broker, 1031 transactions represent a big portion of your life. So yes, 1,000% I did get that. And I'm very confident that, 70% of all transactions are somebody selling a property and saying, hey, I want to defer my capital gains taxes. And, I sold this, let's just say, smaller multifamily, investment property for $2.5 million. And I want to take that money and go buy myself a $10 million asset. And, it's more units.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's very powerful. I'm in the middle of one myself, but I hadn't ever heard that statistic. And I'm wondering if that many actually know what the program is. It startled me, but because I'm starting to represent this company as a 1031 person, but I haven't gone through all the training as yet. So it's like, whoop.
Just stay very close to the 1031 intermediary, ask the rules. And, there's really two main rules: 45 days to name 3 properties, 180 days to close. But there are a million rules. So definitely speak to the 1031 intermediaries. They're used to it. It's every day for them.
Yeah, right. And I can't believe I didn't do it before, but so that's terrific. So, and then you have a unique specialty, a unique skill. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Which unique skill? You mean interpersonal communication?
Yeah, that's the
right.
one. Yes.
Yeah, I wrote a book. I wrote a book. It's called Power Broker: How to Be Successful in Business and Life. And it's really and truly, I think that it's because I'm a dad. I fundamentally believe that 85% of your financial success, 85% of your financial success is due to your skill in human engineering, personality and ability to lead people. Dale Carnegie said that. He said about 15% of one's financial success is due to their technical knowledge. 85% is human engineering, personality, and being able to lead other people.
I have to agree with that. And the rise of masterminds the last 10 years has been unbelievable.
Right.
And I think that's really helping people to zero in on that more and more too. Do you lead some groups too? I think you mentioned you do coaching.
Well, right? I'm a student. I'm a student. Yes, I am a student of the Massimo Group. I've been a student there. And yeah, the bottom line is that I really embrace being a student. And no, I've never been a coach, but LinkedIn has been a great way for me to. About a year ago, I wrote my book and I started to really share on a daily basis what I believe the keys to success are. Things like 85% is due to to human engineering. And I wrote this book, and truthfully, I've grown really from a couple of hundred people, maybe 200 followers, to I believe it's about 15,000 right now in a year.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's amazing. It's fun, and I'm
That's
really
great.
enjoying
Kudos to you.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you. Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. At age 60, I feel like I'm a young guy. I feel like I'm halfway through my career because I want to work, for many years to come. I enjoy it.
Wow, that's great. And you have young kids. Tell people how old your kids are.
Oh man, I'm a 60-year-old dad with an 11-year-old. Chase turned 11, and a 12-year-old. It's the most fun thing ever. Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
They are. I was a late mom too, but
Okay.
yeah, it's great. It is. So as I say to everybody towards the end, because we're going to have to wrap this up, is there a pivotal person or event that brought you either to where you are now or that's propelling you towards something in particular?
Well, I think that, one of my favorite baseball players of all time is Johnny Bench. Old baseball player, has been retired probably for 40 years. He said, no man disappoints their dad. I was like, wow. Yeah, I think that my dad was very pivotal for myself and my brother. I mentioned that my brother's an outstanding commercial real estate attorney down in Miami. And I am a top tier commercial real estate broker. Yeah, I think that my father, had a lot to do with our success. I think that he lived he's 89 years old, doing great down in Florida. And I think he lived a very structured life. And I think that he anticipated and communicated beautifully to myself and my brother that he expected great results from us. I think as Johnny Bench said, we don't disappoint our dad. So I think he was the pivotal person in my life.
Great.
I wouldn't be surprised if you heard that. I heard recently somebody asked, Tom Brady, small boy said to him, you're everybody's hero. You're the greatest quarterback of all time. Who's your hero? And he cried. He said, my father's my hero. He cried. He said, my father's my hero and will always be my hero. And I think that, I understand that sentiment. I think people along the way take on roles. I think that people along the way may have somebody who's taken on a father role for them. As a man, that's very important. I may not be their actual dad, but someone comes along. I recently went to a wedding of somebody who worked for me, and the mother got up and said, Ron, she called me Mr. Ron. She said, Mr. Ron, thank you for taking my son. And I didn't see this coming. And great. He found himself accountable to me. Go figure.
So where is your dad located in Florida?
Oh, Aventura.
Oh,
Aventura.
okay.
Yeah, Aventura, Florida.
The land of shopping centers, right?
That's right. You have a lot more shopping centers.
Is he still doing any transactions?
No, not anymore. He is the owner of a few properties, but he really is at this point close to 90. Very retired. Yeah, very retired.
So part of this program where we do pivotal people, local legends and pivotal people, it's a series that we do. If you want to do a shout out to him.
My father, Milt Koenigsberg. And my brother, Jay Koenigsberg, Florida people. My brother is a dynamic, he is a dynamic commercial real estate attorney down in Miami. And, my dad is a real estate owner and really retired at this point. So,
what's your dad's first name?
Milton, Milton, Milton Koenigsberg.
Good old name.
Yeah, that's certainly.
So sometimes we just do like a hashtag or an @ and give them some attention, some love, right? But if they want to come on the show, then they actually get a lapel pin if they're like the movers and shakers you're describing that says they're a pivotal person.
I would be glad to get back on. My brother's time is so hard to get, but man, I'd love to be on a podcast with my dad. His brain is incredible. I don't think that anything changes when it comes to interpersonal skills. I think his interpersonal skills are amazing. I think that he's an excellent salesperson in that he really understands listening and he understands how to really be of service.
Well, let's do it. Let's go ahead and get him on if you want to even get your brother too, but it's up to you. And
Sure.
That would be awesome. And
I agree.
get him the
I'd love
lapel
that.
pin
I would
and
love that.
all the appreciation too, because I'm sure he's helped a lot of people to make a lot of money.
Certainly, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
he ran a big corporation, and he
Cool.
he
That would be
pivoted
great.
us, no question about it.
Okay, well, let's make it happen. Very
Okay.
good. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Tell people how they can get in touch with you, and we'll put it in the show notes as well. But
Absolutely.
remember,
Like I
some
said,
people are just
sure.
listening, so you may want to spell.
Sure. My name is Ron Koenigsberg. It's you really and truly. I think we really put out great content every day on LinkedIn. We share with the business community. That's Ron RON Koenigsberg KOENIGSBERG. Please check us out on me there and AI props. I have a landing page for ronkoenigsberg.com. My book is Power Broker: How to Be Successful in Business and in Life. And I hope to be doing this for 40 more years.
I know it's in my blood too.
You know.
I just turned 67, and it's like, yeah, I can do a lot more.
Yeah, you got 40 more years in you. That's I do.
All right, very good. Well, thank you, and I'll leave it to you to make arrangements for that. That would be awesome to have the
Be
both
great.
of
I'll
you.
be in touch, Ginny. I would love
Okay.
that. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks again.
Sure. Bye bye.